So we will discuss on SQL, a short and brief introduction and overview on SQL, which is also called as SQL. Okay, SQL and SQL are same thing. SQL is pronounced shortly for easiness as SQL. Okay, so what is SQL? Can anyone tell what is SQL?
Structured query language.
It SQL stands for Structured Query Language, but what is it?
It is a standard for storing and querying the databases.
Yeah, it is not a programming language as of it, but it is some language which is used to query some data from the database. Okay, we have some data or we need to store some data to the database. Well, what do? We query. Query means what? We ask something, right? So we need to ask something to the database, either to store data or to retrieve data. Those kind of language, that particular language is called as standard query language, which is used to interact with the database. Okay, there is a database. What do you mean by database? What do you mean by database?
Storage.
Information.
Yeah, a
Correct.
storage.
Data.
It's a
Collection
collection
data.
of data.
Correct, correct. So, what do you mean by data?
Information.
Information, not any information, those information which is useful. Useful information is known as data, and this collection of useful information is known as database. We can use multiple structures to store this useful information or data. For example, tables, views, objects, like this. We have multiple ways of storing data, and most popularly used kind of storing data is tables. We use tables to store data. Then that one table is called as database. Okay, that particular kind of structure which is used to store useful information is called as database. Then what is DBMS?
Database management system.
Yeah, it stands for database management system, but what is it?
It's a software.
It's a software,
Software.
exactly. Yeah, what does it do?
Manipulate the data.
Yeah, it helps to manage.
To store or retrieve any queries on data.
Yeah, DBMS, which stands for Database Management System, it's a software which is used to manage data in our database. Okay, we use that management system to store data, to retrieve data, to create data, and to update data. Well, all the CRUD operations can be done along with some other operations like joins, inner join, outer join, etc., etc. Will not go into that deeply. And nowadays, especially, we as developers, we do not use extensively the SQL. We do not use it, but we should have fundamental knowledge of this SQL, and we write code in our Java such that internally that code uses SQL. Okay, JDBC and all, we write the code, we write the SQL commands as a string, and we give it to the JDBC, and JDBC will execute that command and interact with the database. Okay, but moving forward from JDBC, we have something called as JPA, we have something called as Hibernate. Okay, we those technologies will use SQL internally, but project some of the methods to interact with the database. Okay, so we, as any software developers, we should have a fundamental knowledge of SQL, how it works, how to write some basic SQL commands to do some CRUD operation and all. So we have multiple DBMS for that namesake. We have HSQL, we have MySQL, we have Oracle database, we have PostgreSQL, so many things, so many database management systems are there in the market. And for now, we use one free source database management system now, which is MySQL. So I'll just share the screen and tell you how you can download this MySQL database management system. Can you see the screen?
Yes,
So,
Okay, you can download MySQL download. You just do this, and you do not download anything, but you download this installer. You please do not download the MySQL software itself, because our systems are so vividly, like they are so vivid and different. We do not know what kind of internal OS configurations we have. If you download this as we did for Eclipse, we will do the same thing for MySQL. We will download this MySQL installer. Okay, so you download this MySQL installer, which is 288.6 MB. Do not download this 2.1 MB, it is useless for us. So please download this one. Okay, you click on download, it downloads an exe file. I'll not download because I already have that downloaded exe file. So I go to downloads. You see, you get something like this, MySQL installer, which is an exe file. You just run this. Okay, it will not show same dialog box as it did for me when I installed, because I have already installed it. Okay, how can I show it? There you have to install these three things. You have to select these three things: MySQL server, MySQL workbench, and connector J. Okay, so how to show it to you now? When you run it, you will get so many options. In that, you have to select something called as custom. Okay, it will be the last option. It will ask you to install MySQL for production, MySQL for this machine, MySQL for something is there. You get some 4-5 options. In that, you select the custom option, which will be the last option. You can ask me when if you get any doubts when installing MySQL, and you select MySQL server. You get a once you do that, you select MySQL server, and in this you get this option. You select the latest one, which is this one. Okay, then you select MySQL connectors, and you select MySQL workbench. Okay, MySQL server is the server where your database will run. MySQL workbench is like the Eclipse or something like that, which allows you to write some query language and execute those commands and create tables, delete tables like that. I will show how MySQL workbench looks like. And Java connector. Okay, this is the connector, or this is the driver, JDBC driver that we need to interact with MySQL database, which we add this driver we will add to our Java project, so that it can connect with I'll talk about those driver everything in detail when we go to JDBC. So we need this connector too. Okay, you got it? You have to select server, workbench, and connector, JDBC connector. Okay, don't select any other connectors. You have ODBC, you have C++, you have Java, .NET, Python. So we do not need any other connectors but Java. Okay, you select this Java connector. No, nothing shows up because I have already installed everything. Okay, so I will just cancel this. Okay, I'll close this install. Any doubts? I'll just repeat. In the browser, just type MySQL download and you download the MySQL installer. Do not download the application directly. This installer will install that particular MySQL database management system software according to your system configuration. So I tell you to download this installer. Then you download this second one, which is 288.6 MB. Then you run that installer, select the custom option. In that custom option, select servers and connector and workbench. These three things you require. Any doubts? Okay. So this is how we download and install MySQL software. Okay. Now
Can you repeat where we can find the connector?
connector will also be there itself. You will see the same kind of dialog box.
Connector is not showing. We are getting only MySQL servers and workbench. Documentation is there.
Sorry, I'm not able to hear you. Your voice is breaking.
Sir, we are getting only MySQL server and MySQL workbench. Connector we are not getting.
When you selected custom,
When we selected custom, there were only three options: MySQL servers, applications, and documentation. That's it.
okay. What is there in application?
In applications, MySQL workbench is there, MySQL shell is there, and MySQL router is there.
Okay. So then, okay, I install. You install those two first. Then
Okay.
you run the installer again. Then you tell add. Okay.
Okay.
Then you will get the connectors. Otherwise, you have to download it. For some system, it will not show connectors. Then you have to download those connectors like this. I will show you. I'll show you that also. There was some problem like this. So SQL.
Sir, just one install in your device and again install it.
Hello. So you have MySQL connectors. You see MySQL download connector /j. We need JDBC connector. You click on this. Okay. It asks for selecting operating system. You select platform independent. Okay. So it gives you two things. You select the second option and download it, and it will give you a jar file, zipped jar file. You don't download tar archive. You download this zip archive, which is a jar file. Then we can use this driver. It has got nothing to do with database management system. This jar file, we have to use it in our JDBC, in our Java project. Okay, I will tell you how to use that. Got it? You can download connectors like this. Here, Hello?
Yes, sir.
So then we will see how to use MySQL. So you can open up MySQL. It will ask for some username, password, like that. Okay. And once you set everything and open up MySQL workbench, it looks somewhat like this. Okay. It looks like this, and you can click on this MySQL local instance. Okay. So I have already given my username and password and set it as a default user. So it did not ask for those user credentials now, but it will ask for you when you first time you open this workbench to create or create some tables, schema, like that. Okay. So this one database management system can contain multiple schemas. Okay. This represents schema. Okay. This symbol represents schema. This represents tables, views, stored procedures, functions. Like this, you have multiple things. You get a detailed explanation about all these things if you go through the SQL videos. This also I wanted to tell you. We do not use SQL extensively, as I told, in our code as developers. Whatever fundamentals that is required to know about SQL is all covered in those 4 videos of SQL in the portal, guys. If you watch those 4 videos, they are simply superb. Only that much you have to know about SQL in your lifetime. Okay, if you know more, that's good, but that much if you know, it's good enough. Okay, so please go through those 4 SQL videos. It hardly takes you 1 day of time. In this weekend, please go through that video. It becomes, most of the topics will become more clear. Okay, so here I have created one schema which is called as student. I can create more schemas like that by clicking on this icon, create a new schema. Okay, I clicked on it. I give the name as employee. Okay, and I tell apply. Yeah, create schema employee. Yes, apply. Okay, you see one more schema got created which is called as employee. So I open this schema. Okay, so there are no tables here. In student schema, I had one table which is student. In employee schema, I do not have any tables or anything else, so I'm not seeing this arrow. So I will select this employee schema and I will select and I will write a query to create a table employee in that. Okay, so how to write the queries? To create a table, we have something like this. We write the query like this. Create. For that, you have to select. Yeah, select this schema. Okay, this should be selected, and we will write create table emp. Okay, then we will inside brackets we will give the column name and the data type of that column name. We have to store id. Okay, emp id, which should be of type string. We do not have string data type in DBMS or in database management system. We have something called as varchar. And how many characters I should store? I should store some 10. Okay. Generally emp id, okay, varchar 10. Then we have to store emp name, which is also of varchar some 100. Okay. We need to store emp age. Okay. Varchar, no, not varchar, it's an int. That's it. Okay. We need to store these three information about an employee, which is emp id, emp name, and emp age. And we'll put a semicolon. And how to run this? How to run this? We can run this by keeping our cursor in to run one particular command. Okay, these are called as SQL commands. Which command is this? If you have gone through the videos, how many command language we have?
3.
Yeah, what are they?
DDL, DML, and DC.
DDL, DML, and DCL. Which category does this create command comes under?
Data definition.
DDL.
Data definition language. Okay, so DML, what are all the commands do we have?
Insert,
Insert,
update,
select, update,
Delete.
correct.
delete,
Delete. DCL,
Branch and row.
yeah, DCL are generally run by DBAs, which includes
Grand TO.
yeah. So those commands are for DCL. Okay. So this comes under DDL, data definition language, means we are defining the data, right? We need a table with name this, with data this. This is the definition of data. So to run this, we have to keep the cursor on that line. Then we have to click on this. If we click on this, it will execute all the commands that is there sequentially, but we have to run only this command. For that, we will click on this. Okay. So create table, you will see if the command is executed successfully, you will see the green tick here. Create table emp with this is created and 0 rows affected. Okay. I want to select all the data that is there in the table emp. How can I do that?
Select star from.
Yeah, select star from emp. Okay, put semicolon, and you need not save this or anything like that. You run this. Okay, so you get a table emp id, emp name, emp age. Okay, we have not entered any data, so we do not see any data here. So come back here. How to close this? I will close it here. Okay. Now we have to add data to the table, emp table. How can we do that?
insert into EMP.
Yeah, for that we use insert command, right? Insert into table name emp values. Before that, we will provide the order emp id, emp name, and emp age. Okay. Values, and we will tell emp id 1, it's a varchar, so we have to provide it in invited quotes, one name as Ramu and age as 22. Okay. So now I will run this command. Okay. You see, insert into this value. This ran successfully. How many rows affected? One row affected. So we will run this command again. Select star from EMP. Okay, you see, one got inserted, one EMP ID, Ramu to age 22. This is how you can keep on inserting values. Okay, I will copy this and insert two more values. I have not given any primary key constraint or like that. Please watch videos to use all those things in the database. Ramu, Somu, okay, age 23. So I run this and I run this. Then I run this. You see, Ramu, Somu, Shamu with EMP ID 123 and EMP age 22, 23, 24 got insert. Okay, clear? Any doubts? Any doubts, guys?
No doubt.
So we saw how to create a database or schema, how to create table in that schema, and how to select everything from the table, and how to insert values to the table. Then what else should we see from it? Yeah, we have select, we have update, we have delete, like this. You have so many things. Please go through SQL videos and try out all the commands, all kinds of commands that you will learn. So this is the basic commands that I wanted to show it to you. Okay, so this completes the first part of today's discussion. You want me to show anything? Anything else? This is how we use MySQL database management system to store data and do queries. Okay, so the next topic I wanted to discuss is the JDBC. Okay, what do you mean by JDBC? An introduction. What do you mean by JDBC? Anybody? Nobody? What does JDBC stands for, at least?
Java database connectivity.
Yeah.
So it
Java?
helps to connect database via Java code.
Yeah.
It
Correct.
acts like an interface. So
Correct. Correct. Everyone are correct. So we have Java
Which is
code.
used to connect.
Yeah. We have our Java code and we have our database management system. Especially every database that we use is a relational database management system. Okay. We have our Java code. We need to interact with JDBC. We have to interact with our DBMS, relational database management system. So how can we do that? To solve this problem, what got introduced is JDBC, which stands for Java Database Connectivity. Okay, it is it is a JDBC is a connectivity API. API means it is a library. Okay. As we have collections framework and collections library in Java, in the same way we have JDBC library, which allows us to form a connection with a database management system. Okay. Now onwards, for short, I will call database management system as database. Okay. So we have a database, we have our Java code, we cannot use our file system every time because file system is local for the machine, but our database management systems are softwares which can run on our system, which can run on cloud, which can run on server. Wherever we need, we can run those software and we can store data. Okay, that is why we have to start using database from now onwards to store data. How to connect our Java code? We had our file IO to interact with file system from our local machine. In the same way, we have some library called as java.sql package. We have to import whatever things that we need for JDBC from these two packages. Okay, we have java.sql and we have javax.sql. Java SQL is for core Java. Javax, which stands for Java Extended SQL. Java Extended means it is nothing but Java EE. Okay, J2E or JEE, which stands for Java Enterprise Edition, that edition of Java allows us to create web applications. Okay, if we are coding for web application, then we have to use javax.sql. If we are coding for core Java and we have to connect with some database, then we have to use java.sql package. Okay, so we have to go a bit deeper with JDBC. JDBC, as I told, is a library which helps us to form a connection between a database, and it helps us to execute those SQL commands which is respective to those database. Okay, so we have our Java code, and inside Java code itself we write code for using JDBC to connect with the database management system, and this JDBC will interact with database management system, execute commands, retrieves data or puts data into database. Everything that is required to manage a database management system from our Java code will be done by our JDBC. Okay, and we have some different types of JDBC drivers. Okay, in order to use JDBC in our Java code, we need something called as JDBC drivers, which should be plugged in to our Java code. Okay, these drivers are nothing but some set of Java files. Okay, java.class files, which is put it as a jar file. Okay, these drivers are nothing but a jar file. That jar file will contain some of the .class file and .java files. Okay, and this jar file is used to connect with the JDBC. That is what we saw when installing MySQL. It is called as connector. Okay, it acts as the connector from our Java code to the database management system. So we have multiple, anybody can tell how many types of JDBC drivers are there? Hello? In Java, how many types means what? Standard.
Four.
Yeah, 4. We have 4 types of JDBC drivers and they are named as what? Type 1 JDBC, Type 2 JDBC, Type 3 JDBC and Type 4 JDBC drivers. Okay, so we will see what are all these 4 types of JDBC drivers, when we should use it, why we are having those kinds of JDBC drivers. Okay, I'll just share my screen. Can you see my screen? So the type we
Yes, sir.
have 4 types of JDBC drivers. You can see this. I have written the driver inside the Java application itself. Okay, it is the part of our Java application. It is not something outside. You cannot, you said that it is an interface. It acts as a middleman to connect with database. Even though it is an interface, even though it forms a middle way or bridge kind of thing between our application and database, it is not outside of our Java application. It is inside our Java application only. Okay, where do we write our code for connecting to the database? In our application only. So we have to write code for connecting to the database and do executing queries and writing queries. Everything we will write in our application only, and we will download this jar file, okay, this JDBC driver from the internet, and we have to plug in to our application itself. Okay, in that JDBC drivers we have 4 different types. Type 1 is also called as bridge driver, and type 2 is called as native driver, type 3 is called as middleware driver, and type 4 is thin Java driver or pure Java driver. Okay, what do you mean by bridge driver? We have our Java application. If we are going to plug in this type 1 driver to our Java application, what does it do is, it doesn't talk to database directly, but instead it talks with some other database connectivity interface, and that will instead in turn connect with database and retrieve data or put data and interact with our type 1 driver. Okay, this is the age-old driver. It was present. This ODBC is object database connectivity. It is very old technology. Even it was present even before Java. So to support that legacy, what Java people did is, what our database management people did is, they created one driver which can talk to ODBC and that can talk to database. Okay, so this is the type 1 driver. Can you tell what is the merit and what is the merit of this, using this kind of database driver? Can you assume anything? Okay, we'll talk about this thing and we'll see if we can come out with some merits and demerits. Okay, so we have type 2 driver, which is called as native driver. If we plug in this type 2 driver to our Java application, then it will talk to database directly by making native calls. Okay, there are some function calls which are called as native. Those are called as native because those are written either in C or C++, and those can interact with those things will create sockets, okay, between our Java application and database, and through those sockets they will call some native function calls, and according to those function calls it will interact with database directly. Okay, now can you tell what is the merit of type 2 and what is the merit of type 1? Hello? Tell? Okay, let me tell. So type 1 driver supports legacy, okay, and the demerit is only merit is it supports legacy and it can talk to those databases only which ODBC was talking to earlier. Okay, to do that we have to use ODBC, and demerit is it is slower in performance. We cannot talk to database directly. Instead we have to talk to ODBC then talk to database, then it will give the result. So this reduces the performance speed. Okay, so and we will never use as this is some 25 30-year-old technology. We will not use this this driver anymore in our Java code. Okay, what is the benefit of native? Now you should tell me what is the merit of native.
It will not take any time.
Yeah, it is faster, it is super fast, but since we are doing native calls, the database should have that particular native calls, native functions, okay, which is written in C or C++. Only to those functions can this type 2 driver is can make function call and interact with database. So suppose if you have MySQL database and you want to use type 2 driver, then you have to download driver for that MySQL database type 2 driver. Okay, this is the database specific driver. So we do not use this much. We cannot, and it is also platform dependent. For Windows, you have the type 2 driver, different type 2 driver. For Mac, the different type 2 driver. For Linux, different type 2 driver, and for different type 2 databases, it is different type 2 driver. So this is the demerit of native type 2 driver, and merit is it is super fast. If you know I am going to use this database in this system only, okay, for Windows system I am going to use MySQL. If you are sure, then you can use type 2 driver, that will increases the performance. Okay, what is the demerit? It is database specific and platform dependent. Okay, that is why we cannot use this for each and every platforms. Clear? Any doubts? Any questions? Hello?
No, sir.
Okay, cool. So type 3 driver we have, which is called as middleware. It's a kind of similar to first driver, but here it doesn't talk to another database driver, okay, but it will talk to some middleman, which is called as middleware. Okay, middleware is a software this is a middleware. Just write it. This is a middleware software. Okay, it's a middleware software. It is proprietary. Okay, to use this middleware, you have to acquire license. To acquire license, you have to pay for that. Then it can be slower or it can be faster. We cannot tell that because some middlewares function asynchronously. If it is an asynchronous middleware software, it will perform faster. If it is not asynchronous, it will perform slower. So we have to interact with middleware. Middleware will interact with DB, then it will give the result. So as in initial stage, we also do not use this middleware type 3 driver for our JDBC connectivity. Okay, then comes our driver, which is pure Java driver. Okay, this is as almost similar to type 2 driver, which also makes native function calls. This is also specific to database, but it is platform independent. Okay, we just saw, I told you to select that particular driver which is platform independent. Since Java is platform, where is that? Since Java is platform independent, our pure Java JDBC driver is also platform independent, but it is database specific. If you are using MySQL, you have to use MySQL connector itself. If you are using HSQL, we have something called as HSQL. Okay, HSQL JDBC JDBC jar. Okay, what happened? HSQL JDBC jar. Okay, download Microsoft JDBC driver for SQL Server. What happened? There is one database, HSQL JDBC driver. Okay, you have different JDBC driver for HSQL. You have different JDBC driver for Oracle. You saw that you have different JDBC driver for Microsoft SQL. You have different JDBC driver for Postgres SQL. Okay. Even our type 4 JDBC driver, which is a pure Java driver, which is written in Java language only, is platform independent and database specific. So this is the only merit that we have. It can talk to one database management system written in Java. Okay, if it is written in native call, it will do native function call. If it is written in Java language, it will do Java function call and talk to database. So one thing is, the merit is it is platform independent. Okay, database specific and faster. Okay, since it is written in Java itself, it is faster. There are no middlewares, there are no middle other ODBC or something like that. It can talk to database management system directly. This driver is platform independent. We can use same driver in Windows, in Mac, in Linux, in Ubuntu, everywhere. Okay, but it is database specific. If we are using MySQL, we should have different MySQL driver downloaded, which is driver means, guys, don't get burdened with on your head. What is this driver? Driver is nothing but a jar file which we will download from for MySQL we download from here, for HSQL we download from here. So it is nothing but a jar file which we will plug into our Java project. That's it. Okay, we will download. We always use this type 4 driver, and we will use this driver to interact with database. Clear? Any doubts?
No, sir.
This is important, guys. All these different types of drivers is very much important for, even though we do not use this is important for interviews. Okay, they will ask, what do you mean by type 1 driver? What do you mean by type 2 driver? What do you mean by type 3, type 4? Why do we use it? What's happening? So this is the favorite topic of interviewers. If you put JDBC in your resume, okay, they will ask this. What do you mean by bridge? Okay, this is the only theory that you need to know in JDBC topic. Okay, what is JDBC? JDBC is a library that we use to connect with database management system, which will make some API calls. It is also called as an API. It is an interface. It is a library that helps us to make connection with database. Okay, there are 4 types of JDBC drivers. We need to have this driver to make connection with database. Okay, there are 4 types: type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4. Type 1 is also called as bridge driver. It talks to another driver, which most probably an ODBC driver, and that ODBC will communicate with database and return the result. Okay, then we have type 2, which is native. Which is written in C or C++ language. Okay, and it is database specific and platform dependent. Then we have middleware. We have some middleware software. Our driver will talk to that middleware, and that middleware will talk to database. Then we have pure Java. Pure Java driver will make some native calls and also Java function calls, which is both platform independent and database specific and super fast. We almost use this pure Java JDBC driver to have connection with database. Okay, this is the most wanted theory that you should know in recap, in brief, about JDBC. Any doubts, any questions? Hello? Any questions, guys?
No, sir.
Clear? Okay, cool. Then we will see how to use JDBC driver and establish connection with MySQL database and do interaction with database in tomorrow's session. Okay. Cool. By that time, please start project, do project, install MySQL, go through MySQL videos. Okay, then we will see how to do that in the next class. Okay, if you don't have any doubts, shall we end the session?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.